Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a mad fan of Instagram. Love it. Love looking at people's pictures. Love looking at the way they see the world. Love looking at the impression that the world makes on them. And the fact that they put it in pictures, and love the way they put it in pictures. Because the images that you see actually inform the way you think. And the things that inform the way you think informs the way you act. Take, for instance, Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration here in Matthew chapter 17. He's on the Mount of Transfiguration and he's there. The disciples hear God speak. And the disciples have seen him with Elijah on one side, and they've seen him with Moses on the other side. And the story says, this is my, God says, this is my beloved son, whom I love. Hear him. And the story says that the disciples fell down with fear and trembling, crumpled on the ground. And then listen to these words. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, get up and do not be afraid. And when they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus himself alone. They came from a really great history. Elijah, greatest prophet in the history of Israel. Elijah. Moses, the meekest man who ever lived. Moses. But the story said after God had spoken, when Jesus touched them, they saw no one except Jesus alone. When they looked up, they saw no one but Jesus alone. And so when you look through all the biblical images, when you look through all the pictures in the Bible, when you look through all the great people in the Bible, who is it that's really touching you? Who is it that is really presented to you? Because the Bible starts with God and us. And the Bible ends with God and us. And every other picture in between are just pictures in the supporting cast of the great movie of God and us. So who are you seeing? Are you going back to the great prophets of old to look and see Elijahs and the great Elijahs of the past when Jesus is standing there? Are you looking to find the great Moses and the great leaders of the past when Jesus is standing there in the past, in the present, and still in the future after all of them are gone? Who is it that you're looking for? I am hoping, I am praying, I am beseeching God that we will only see Jesus. That when we fall down, we will hear him. We will feel his touch only. We will hear his voice only. And when we look up to find where our help comes from, that we will only see him. Because it's easy to see so many other faces. It's easy to see so many other pictures. It's easy to hear so many other voices in this world of Instagram pictures and voices. But the only voice and the only face that makes the difference, the only touch that makes the difference, is the touch of that man Jesus, is the voice of that man Jesus, is the face of that man Jesus. And I pray that that's the face you see. When all other faces fade, that is the face you remember. When all other touches lose their significance, that is the touch that you remember. So find him because he's there. Hear him because he's there. Feel him because he reaches the touch. And I pray that you will look up and see Jesus himself alone and only.